Picture this: I woke up to the sight of my solar panels gutted. Wires dangling like limp nooses in the crisp Arizona dawn. And I didn't scream or curse, I just chuckled darkly. Because in this cookie-cutter suburb where every lawn is a battlefield, only one person could pull off such petty tyranny with a straight face. Yeah. It was Karen, sorry. Mrs. Evelyn Hargrove, the HOA queen bee who'd been buzzing in my ear since day one. All smiles and subpoenas. Turning our peaceful cul-de-sac into her personal dictatorship of community standards. I'd moved to this sleepy neighborhood in Flagstaff a year ago. Chasing that American dream of quiet sunsets and low utility bills. My wife and I scraped together for a modest solar setup, nothing flashy. Just 8 panels on the roof. Green-lit by the city. Inspected twice. And humming along to knock our electric bill down to peanuts. But Evelyn? Oh. She saw it as an assault on her kingdom. Those shiny monstrosities are ruining the vista, she'd coo at the mailbox. Her pearl necklace gleaming like a noose of her own making. We have rules for a reason. Dear Harmony. You know? I'd nod politely, biting back the urge to ask if her fake flower beds qualified as natural beauty. Rumors started swirling soon after, whispers in the neighborhood app that I was some eco-freak installing radiation emitters to fry the birds. I ignored it at first, figuring silence was the high road. But inside, I was cataloging every snide glance. Every passive-aggressive note slipped under my door. Patience isn't weakness, it's ammunition. The real fun began when Evelyn called an emergency HOA conclave, her words. Not mine, in the community center that smelled like stale coffee and faded glory. She strutted in like a prosecutor on a mission. Her bob haircut helmeted with enough spray to deflect bullets. Clipboard clutched like a shield. Ladies and gentlemen, she intoned. Voice dripping with faux concern. This solar eyesore is not just ugly, it's a hazard. Glare blinding drivers. Panels attracting lightning. And don't get me started on the plummeting property values. We're talking industrial apocalypse in our backyards. The board, 3 retirees and a part-time accountant, nodded along, mesmerized by her theatrical pauses. I sat in the back, arms crossed, watching her performance. When it was my turn, I kept it cool, Evelyn. The city approved it. Inspector signed off. No violations. She shot back with a saccharine smile. Oh. Honey. Rules evolve. We must protect our aesthetic integrity. The vote went 3-2 against her motion to fine me into oblivion. She lost. But her eyes narrowed like she'd just added me to her personal vendetta list. As we filed out, she leaned in close enough for me to smell her floral perfume masking something rotten. You'll see. Young man. Order always prevails. I just smiled. Sure. Evelyn. Whatever keeps the lights on. A few days later, the Sabotage hit. Stepping out for my morning jog, I spotted the carnage, clean cuts through the main cables. Tools marks screaming amateur hour. My Ring camera had it all, Evelyn at 5 a.m. Shears in hand. Glancing around like a bad spy movie extra before snipping away. I didn't rage, I brewed coffee and called the cops. Officer Daniels rolled up. A burly guy with a mustache that screamed seen it all. He eyed the wires. Then me. Enemies? Just the HOA president across the street. He snorted. Figures. These neighborhood spats are worse than bar fights. I showed him the footage. Well. Damn, he muttered. Scribbling notes. That's vandalism. Plain and simple. I'll file it. But push if you want action, HOAs are like Teflon. As he drove off, Evelyn peeked from her curtains. Her face a mask of feigned innocence. I waved cheerily. Phone in hand, recording her flinch. That afternoon, my electrician buddy, Tom, fixed it temporarily with safety caps. She's nuts, he grumbled. Twisting wires. Want me to booby-trap her mailbox? We laughed. But a seed planted, why fight fair when she's playing dirty? By evening, the retaliation emails flooded in. Subject: non-compliant exterior hazards. Evelyn's prose was a masterpiece of bureaucracy speak. Your dangling wires pose an imminent threat to pedestrian safety and neighborhood decorum. Remove immediately or face covenants enforcement. I replied with the police report attachment and a screenshot of her midnight pruning. Appreciate the concern. Evelyn. Maybe focus on your own yard? Silence for a day. Then escalation, a neon violation sticker slapped on my garage door for unauthorized visible cabling. She'd waited like a vulture for Tom to leave. I peeled it off. Snapped a pic. And added it to my growing digital dossier. Whispers ramped up, group chat buzzing with her planted stories. He's rigging the grid to spy on us. I stayed silent publicly. But privately, I was researching HOA bylaws, electrical codes, and a little poetic justice. No rush, good revenge simmers. Things heated up when my sprinklers went haywire one morning, flooding the driveway into a mini lake. Timer tampered. Settings cranked to deluge. Evelyn's handiwork. No doubt, she'd been eyeing my yard like it offended her personally. I fixed it. But not before accidentally letting the overflow soak her prized rose bushes across the fence. She stormed over. Heels clicking on the pavement. Face pinched in righteous fury. This is assault on my property. Your negligence is flooding my award-winning garden. I leaned on my rake. Casual as hell. Negligence? Funny. My timer was fine yesterday. Maybe check your own settings, wouldn't want any hazards on your end. She huffed. I represent order here. You'll comply. Or the board will hear about this outrage. Looking forward to it, I said. Watching her retreat with that stiff-backed walk of defeated tyrants. Inside, I chuckled. Her order was crumbling under its own absurdity. The next HOA meeting was pure circus. Evelyn had baked cookies, store-bought, relabeled as homemade, and positioned herself at the podium like a general. This resident, she pointed at me dramatically, is endangering us all with his rogue energy experiments. Electrical risks. Visual pollution, it's chaos. Murmurs rippled. I waited. Then stood. Evelyn. Let's cut the drama. I projected the ring footage on my phone to the room's ancient TV. Gasps as she appeared. Shears glinting. That's edited, she stammered. Cheeks flaming. No. Dear. That's you playing electrician at dawn. The president. Old Mr. Wilkins. Coughed. We'll investigate. As I left, Evelyn whispered venomously. You think you're clever? This isn't over. Never said it was, I replied. That night. More emails, noise complaints for my non-existent dog. Trash bin violations for a can 2 inches off center. I archived them under Evelyn's meltdown files. Her control freakery was turning comical. Like a robot short-circuiting on its own logic. I decided to up the ante subtly. Knowing she'd illegally tapped into a shared utility line for her fancy fountain, public records are a gold mine. I installed a harmless monitor on my side, nothing illegal. Just a gadget that detected unauthorized draws and sent a mild feedback buzz. Educational. Really. Dawn broke. And my app pinged, motion detected. Evelyn. In her robe. Fiddling with her sprinklers. Then the yelp, sharp. Indignant. Like a cat on a hot tin roof. She jerked back. Shaking her hand. Water spraying wildly. No injury. Just a zap of reality. By noon. She was ranting in the group chat, electromagnetic sabotage. This man is weaponizing his solar cult. I sipped coffee. Watching neighbors reply with eye-roll emojis. Her paranoia was blooming beautifully. She didn't stop, keyed my truck with a HOA keychain, caught on cam. Taped more notices. Even called animal control claiming my solar panels scared squirrels. I countered with more footage. Sharing snippets anonymously online. HOA horror stories forums ate it up. But Evelyn escalated, she phoned the county. Alleging deterrent devices on my property. Inspectors arrived. Poked around. Found zilch. False alarm, one grumbled. Every block has a busybody like her. Evelyn watched from her porch. Arms crossed. Face a thundercloud. This is injustice, she yelled as they left. You're enabling anarchy. The inspector turned, ma'am. Anarchy would be letting you run the grid. I nearly applauded. Word spread. And local news sniffed drama. Evelyn spun it first, eco-terrorist neighbor harassing innocent HOA leader. The reporter interviewed me, I showed evidence calmly. The segment aired, solar feud shocks suburb. Comments exploded, half hailed me as anti-HOA hero. Half decried vigilante justice. Evelyn's facade cracked, she held a safety seminar in her driveway. Preaching about grid integrity. Attendants, her cat and a bewildered mailman. Her husband. Poor guy. Started avoiding eye contact at barbecues. Quiet descended. But I knew better. Midnight alert, Evelyn staring at my house from her yard. Sprinklers clicking on like a ritual. My panels dipped, she'd snaked an extension cord across the line. Siphoning my power. Bold. Or desperate. I disconnected it. Left it coiled on her step with a note, borrowing without asking? That's not very harmonious. Her response, an all-caps email blast to the HOA, power theft epidemic. Mr. Wilkins replied publicly, Evelyn. Therapy might help more than emails. Laughter echoed in my garage as I read it. Final straw, I rigged a safe sensor, 12-volt pulse on detection. Like a static doorknob shock. Dawn again, she plugged in. Zap. She flailed. Sprinkler exploding in a geyser. Drenching her. Pounding on my door minutes later. Sopping wet. Eyes wild. You monster. This is assault. Assault? You mean like cutting wires? She shrieked. I'll sue. Homeland Security, solar threats are national. I deadpanned. Evelyn. The son isn't a terrorist. County van arrived, inspector examined. Praised my setup. Ma'am. Stop meddling. Her jaw dropped. Speechless for once. That night. She hammered a grounding rod at the property line, thunk. Thunk, ignoring my warning. Spark flew, she tumbled back. Stunned but unharmed. Paramedics came, her husband left soon after. Bags packed. HOA suspended her, inspectors gutted her illegal wiring. House sold to a chill couple who waved hello without agendas. Months later. Peace reigned. But one flickering light across the street reminded me, control addicts don't fade easy. I buried my gadgets. Planted a tag, stay grounded. Ego overcharges everything, better to break the circuit. So. Tell me, was I the villain for fighting back? Or just a guy protecting his patch? Who's really the power thief here?